juniors. So the misconception is that it's a very tough subject. We should, as far as possible, be very studious about it, or we may not even pass it at the first attempt. All sorts of rumors float down. But it is a subject like any other subject if it tackled sincerely and if it is tackled with the right perspective. It is not so very difficult to understand. But what is expected from the students is sincerity. That is the main thing. So to understand this subject, sincerity is the first qualification that I would say. And secondly, it is expected that you read a lot. You are expected to make the best use of such a beautiful library that your sir has provided for you, and I am sure more and more books are added every year. For jurisprudence, you cannot stick to one book and then claim that I didn't get good marks. How did I not get good marks? Because extensive reading for this subject is required. There are two things: that the particular language that is used for this subject is different. The words sometimes are different from the other, you can say, subjects that you are handling. In the other subjects, you have specific legislation. Like for the Indian Penal Code, you had a specific, you can say, code, sections 1 to 511. For Contract Act also you have specific sections. For Transfer of Property Act, you have a specific, you can say, legislation, Company Act and so on. But for jurisprudence, there is no specific textbook. It is, you can say, a synthesis of certain theories that have been put together. So what is jurisprudence? Basically, jurisprudence, if you try to understand it from the point of view of a story of law that unfolds before you, then it is easy for you to understand. Jurisprudence is nothing but an attempt. It is an attempt to come to the basic understanding and definition of law itself. It is the understanding of some basic underlying essential principles of law. So if you are studying the Contract Act, there are certain principles which are there of the Contract Act. And whether those principles are good principles, those will be, you can say, understood by you if you have a knowledge of these theories of jurisprudence. So jurisprudence is a subject which helps you to understand all the other subjects that you have in the new course of your studies. So that is something just briefly about what is jurisprudence. So you have to think of jurisprudence that it is a quest. It is a journey. A journey what? To achieve the end. The end is to have an understanding of what is law itself. And to understand this whole journey, you have to think of it alongside the history of evolution of man itself. So law as a concept, it is having a very old, ancient history. Law is a concept that existed along with human civilization. It continued to grow and develop. So we are going to see jurisprudence along with the, you can say, history of development of civilizations. Now if you think of civilizations, then the history of man, the stages of evolution of man, you can say, are basically divided into 5 broad categories. And so I'll just write down these categories for you here so that you remember them. All of you in your school level, I'm sure you studied history, right? And I hope you remember that you had studied that ancient man was Stone Age man. Remember that? So you had the Stone Age man or the cave man, and he lived in caves. That was the earliest history of man. So naturally the first stage of evolution of man is the Stone Age. It is the Stone Age. And at that particular time, human beings were nomadic in nature. What is nomadic? Moving from place to place. Today also, if you think of the gypsies, the gypsies, Banjaras, they don't have one particular place of settlement. They move from place to place in search of food and shelter. And in the same way, man was nomadic in the Stone Age, and at that time, the law that evolved was the first stage, that is the primitive law. So alongside the history of man, law has evolved. And at this particular point of time, there was basically very little law. There was no law at all. It was in a very primitive nature that the civilizations developed, generally around the river banks, because of the water supply. And hence, at that time, the only occupation of the people was firstly hunting. It was hunting animals, eating animals for food, and then of course some plants and fruits of certain trees, and hence they were classified into lower hunters, then higher hunters, and then came the pastoralists or the farmers. So second occupation became agriculture. When man started settling around the villages or around the river banks, when villages grew, then agriculture developed. And again, among the agriculturalists also there were some grades. That is the first grade agricultural persons, lowest grade. Then the second grade agricultural persons and third grade. So this was how the whole, you can say, primitive community developed. So the law also was very primitive. What was the law at that point of time? There was no particular understanding that what should be the law. Because when we say law, what is law after all? It is, you can say, a set of rules to regulate human conduct in the society. It is a set of rules that we need, even in the ancient period and even today. And today, students like you, naturally you need more and more rules, right? Because you have